Hello people, and welcome to another episode of City Showcase. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we are looking at a CS1 city of San Telesforo by Anapu, a real mix of different styles across a very mountainous tropical island map. And don't forget, if you want your city to be featured in City Showcase, fill out the Google form linked in the video description. So let's take a look around this city, shall we? So as always, let's get a little bit of a grander perspective on the map here, shall we? So the central business district and the airports and the grander infrastructure is over here. But there's almost like a European CBD over here around this port structure as well. So let's have a look around, shall we? I believe this is a custom map from the map creator himself called Evil Islands. And you can find it on the Steam Workshop. But either way, let's start with these outer line communities and then we'll work our way in toward the city centre, shall we? And I do love this map theme. It's the Seychelles theme. And it's very kind of blue waters, tropical island vibes, isn't it? Makes me want to play Thessia. See this crystal clear blue water. It's very nice, isn't it? Regardless, we'll head over here. So this city has some really cool key work in it that we'll see as the episode goes on today. But ferries arriving into a little harbour here with a little lighthouse, which is very nice. Love how he's used the keys there. And there is a few custom assets in this city that I've actually used very tastefully. So we have a whole bunch of industry over here. From what I can tell as well, the city is zoned. I think there's been very little plopping here, which is very cool. I think it's definitely harder to make a city look good via zoning compared to it is plopping. So I always appreciate seeing the zoned cities. A little residential tower right on the edge of the pier here. And what are these assets here? If we do dare check them out. So this is modular pier warehouses. Very cool. So as far as I can tell, it does say it's a public transport building. Maybe the ferries are working from here. But very nice asset regardless. I really like that one. And then in here we have a little bit of a city centre. Some tasteful European zoning used in the blocks again, which is always the best way to use them, I think, with the way the assets are formulated. Which then comes up onto a little bit of a green cities district up here. That sits atop the hill, mixes of wall-to-wall green cities, always a firm favourite, that one now, isn't it? Love seeing those two styles combined. Down here, more industry, onto a container port with the ferry depot. And then our green cities vibe kicks back in again here with some cycling. And then some nice elevated swoopy networks that span over the water. Connecting this community to the rest of the map, alongside another ferry terminal over here as well, again with the keys. Very nicely done either side of it. So lovely stuff, very nice indeed. Let's head across the bridges then, where we can see a train as well. Let's get a little shot of this. I always love that. Elevated infrastructure, very busy infrastructure as well. Over waterways, islands, very cool. They switch over one another as that joins the main train line heading into the city centre, which we'll get to toward the end of the episode. And then we have some country road network. It actually really reminds me of Thessia, actually. The whole rural national network passing through tropical islands is always a favourite. Very nice. Trains passing by there as well. Really nicely, sensibly graded train stuff as well here. Very nice. This bridge continues to swoop over sandy bays before arriving into another town over here, which is definitely, well, it looks really interesting. Let's see what this is made up of here. So we've got hotels, tourism, which is a very nice asset repetition there, isn't it? That's wonderful. That's really nice, actually. A little bit of move it there to fuse them together, and you've got kind of a new hotel asset, don't you? I'll have to remember that one. Very nice. So he's paid attention to the assets that have been allowed to spawn in here. Now this is an interesting combination, isn't it? Oh, would you look at that? He's even fused it in so it looks like a door. So he's fused the casino into the castle. 2 casinos, actually. That's the first time I've ever seen that done, and it works. It's almost like a themed casino, isn't it? Something you'd find on the Vegas Strip, absolutely. Very cool. I really like that. I would never have ever thought to fuse the casino onto the castle, but it does work in the strangest of ways. I really like that. That's excellent design. Anapu, really cool. Casino, castle. So a big tourism town over here. Some vanilla housing on the edges of the city. I'm not a massive fan of this style. It's like level 5 vanilla housing, just looks ridiculous, doesn't it? Really hate these assets. But regardless, beyond that of my personal taste, we do have a rail line passing through here, which looks like this goes to an outside connection via a little rail tunnel there. And then this comes up into a little older town, does it? Perhaps with a church and some smaller, more Spanish-style housing. What are these? The King's Residence. Yeah, that is really interesting. I love this church. What church are we playing with here? Iglesia San Bernardo. How exotic. It's a very nice asset though. Great church building that, isn't it? And then this all comes to a head as it rises up toward a little lighthouse here. Of course, is helping those ships navigate the very dangerous waters. But a really cute town with the highlight absolutely being that casino. It's a little tourism town. It's not super huge, but really interesting views in there. Over here, we'll span into more of these little kind of Spanish-style assets with an oil drilling platform out here. Please some fire stations, and then more of those assets again. Definitely more of a rural town out here, isn't it? These are, I don't know, maybe kind of Central America they remind me of, possibly. I want to say like maybe Panama and Bolivia. Is Bolivia? Bolivia's South America, isn't it, I think? I'm sure we'll have the continental police in the comments letting us know regardless, but really unique assets and a lovely little rural town mixed in with some green cities with an oil drilling platform as well, right on the edge here. Before we stumble across what looks like kind of Mayan temples. Aren't these interesting? So, what are you? What are you? Just Ruin C and Ruin B, so I guess it's just a ruin pack then, isn't it? But they do have that kind of ancient Mayan temple about them, don't they? A very cool way actually to build out a national park. Notice he has some campfires down here, so this is functioning as a nature reserve, isn't it? Yeah, there's the gate. And really interesting, actually, making a kind of a ancient ruin temple national park. Great way to factor in some more quirky custom assets, I think. Very nice indeed. Over here we have, missing what looks like another quite active temple. He's a big fan of his churches, isn't he? What is this one? Monasterio. Very nice. The Cathedral de Santa Maria Lugo Galitza. Where is that? Somewhere in Latin America, perhaps? Very nice. Beautiful asset. No, that's just kind of out here on its own next to one of these other little kind of Spanish asset-inspired towns with the National Highway road passing through it here. Right, we are talking about roads. Let's have a look at the traffic flow. We are 81%, which is decent for a population of 96,000. A lot of the red seems to be over here, but we'll come to that in a second regardless. A little fishing town out here. Nothing's overly built out here. I like how he's handled his country. It's all kind of little isolated towns, simple buildings around more grander builds like the ancient temple kind of national park is very cool. Up here, I can see something in the hills, which I'm very keen to check out. Quite a few things here actually, isn't there? So what on earth is all of this? We have another casino next to what looks like a spaceship port. There's a sanctuary basin. A visual entrance exit for city canal and luxury high-tech seaport. Very unusual choice of asset. It is turned off anyway. And then there's a road here, which I'm guessing is taking us up to this. And what is this? Was not expecting it to be a runway. Star deck. So I guess it's are we going futuristic here? This is like an actual spaceport. Is that what we're going for? With the antenna up there as well. There's a cable car leading down to an abandoned factory with a power plant and a disaster shelter. Very random collection of assets. I'm not sure what the build is supposed to be here. Casinos, spaceports, power plants and disaster shelters. Not entirely sure. Is there any boats coming here? No, it's all isolated, isn't it? There's also a radar dish over there as well. So I'm guessing some kind of spaceport build is supposed to be here. Some really futuristic looking assets though. Not sure if this is from another game, is it? Maybe it is kind of referencing something. I'm not sure. But a very unique way to use a extreme mountainous island regardless. Heading away from the island, we arrive at more of these rural Spanish vibes with a beautiful bridge. I love that. That is a very nice network. And then this comes into more of those rural vibes with another really nice looking asset again. What is this? Presidente's Palace, I think. It's the official workplace of the president of Paraguay, apparently. Isn't that a wonderful office? Great views as well. Across the back here. Some landscape gardens out the front. Look at that. That's very nice. Love that. Such a subtle little detail to use the pathways with the stair keys like that. Very nice indeed, Anapu. I love this. Very cute. And there's also more landscaping around here. Again, excellent use of the keys here. So I mentioned at the start of the episode. The key work around the city is really sweet. More of those rural vibes out here again as well before we rejoin the national road as it heads uphill to a hydroelectric dam. It also has water pumps fused onto it, which is pretty cool. Really want to break this open. I want to watch that blow down. Maybe we'll do it at the end of the episode, we'll see. But a waterfall up here as well. It's a very nice map. I know it, I think I mentioned at the start, the map is made by the city builder himself, which is very cool. It isn't something you see super often. But wonderful national roads, regardless, all converging in some really interesting junction configurations here. I wonder if this was taken from somewhere in real life, perhaps. It's flowing though, isn't it? It works. Nice way to merge two separate two-way roads into the usual national road couplet that flows around here. And more of these cute little towns with churches and housing before we arrive at some farmland, which looks wonderful. We have like the palms there between the fields. Gives it a very kind of plantation type vibe, doesn't it? Really nice. Got livestock in here as well. This then opens up into the first sort of metropolitan area of the city. We have a wonderful highway interchange here, which is getting great flow in it. Really nice, serving industry to the right with a little bit of forestry work over here with the forestry plantation just across the road. And we come into a big old European area. It's a big fan of his European zoning. We have another one of those piers here again. Is that a seaside resorts asset? It's not, is it? This one continual asset, I wonder. It's the Malmo Central Station office. Well, there you go. And then great, really nice key work again as this whole European area. Let's get a bit of a grander bird's eye here. Real kind of port city, port town. Really sweet. There's Ferris wheels in here, lots of fishing, tons of residential zoning, another beautiful church asset. This is really, really nice. The Cathedro San Telesforo, am I pronouncing that right? Just says it's a tranny cathedral, not sure what that means. But regardless, another wonderful asset. Really nice cute work around here as well. With texture work being woven in around his Green Cities markets, that's very nice. Love these assets, they're so versatile, aren't they? The Green Cities stuff. And then we have nice big waterfronts through here. Schools, great key work again. Unique buildings, partnered with more custom assets. Really well nice. I've never noticed how many solar panels are on these European roofs before. Are they always like that? I feel like... I wonder if that's what they go to when they're level 5 maybe. Can we check? Yeah, they're all level 5. I feel like that must be a level 5 thing, the solar panels. I don't think I've ever noticed that before. We have an abandoned factory in here that spills into a big old industrial part of the city. With these animated container things, which are very cool. Really like these. But then lots of industry, again, all of which is zoned in and around his major port. And then this comes down into another kind of warehouse area with train line. That goes. This is obviously a functioning warehouse then, isn't it? It's a really nice one, that. And then lighthouse with car parking and a big one-way loop as well. One-way loop's always good for these big cargo harbours, especially when it's got trains importing and exporting here as well. But a nice train yard factored in. And with another mental-looking church. What is this? This is several assets. La Super Usina. Very cool. This is supposed to be kind of an abandoned cathedral, maybe, in and around the industry. So it's a bit of a strange placement, I'll give it that. Again, gorgeous asset to have. Bit of a strange location though in the cargo harbour. Maybe it is supposed to be a warehouse, maybe. Or converted into a warehouse from what it once was. Look at this big grain elevator, isn't this fantastic? This is really cool. So again, these are all separate assets, I'm assuming here, are they? Yep, so we have elevated conveyor. We have 2 silos here as well. A real nice way. It does seem imperative to build something very similar to this in CS2. So I'm currently familiar with the grain elevator setup. Very cool build in CS, that. And then another massive industrial district here blends back into the current European area that we just checked out. Which is all very nice. Great key work, more wonderful use of green cities against the waterfront there too. Nice markets by the water. Overlooking the spaceport of all builds. Was either way a really nice town. That then spills into more of that block work with the European zoning. And then we arrive back at the national highway again, which has a very well put together interchange. A great flow on that one, isn't it? Look at that. That's what you love to see. Really nice work there. We'll follow this out of town as we head alongside the coast, where again these blue waters just make me want to get into Thessia. I really miss the Thessia theme with all the crystal blue waters. Very nice. Miss CS1's water, you know. It's so variable with all the themes you can do. And it actually behaves like water as well. Another major interchange here as we arrive around, I guess, what we could call the north head of the main island, where his main metropolitan centre lies over here. So let's head up this way first and we'll see what we can see. So more farmland through here. Great use of the palms in between the fields. Really makes a difference, that doesn't it? I don't know why I'm enjoying that so much. Palm-lined fields. Very tropical. Reminds me a little bit of Phoenix as well. I remember seeing quite a bit of that when I'm building Ilos. And there's a bunch of different industries out here. So he's got his mine, again, which has been nicely detailed up. With mines heading underground into the ore deposits. Got his cranes over here. Big factory districts, lots of storage, warehouses here for his industrial steel plant. A big rail yard too. Which is a real convergence of multiple different directions, isn't it? Got trains coming from all different directions passing through here. Onto some, again, really nicely graded rail work, look at that, right? Yeah, the train police cannot be complaining about this one. He's definitely paid respects with a little custom rail bridge here. Very nice. Where does this go? Is this serving an outside connection? I'm assuming so. Yeah, so he's got double train outside connection there. It actually merges into 3 lines. With another road connection over this side of the map as well. There's a bit of water treatment plant isolated out here as well. Some nice fencing around it. A bit of an isolated service plant. Which looks really nice with those elevated networks just nearby, doesn't it? Great use of keys again too. Lovely stuff. More farming district over here, this time mainly using vanilla farming, which is interesting to see. But some nice little rural farming communities dotted around here. These guys have got their own little pier heading down, which is great. Really like the way that looks. And then we've also got yet another wonderful custom church over here. The same one we looked at earlier, isn't it? This time blended in with the ruins, actually. I think it's pretty clear they're taking kind of maybe, I want to say Central America inspiration, with it being kind of Mayan themed, I guess. But kind of Central, South, general Latin America vibes seem to be the inspiration behind the bulk of the city. Big YT intersection here, or interchange for the national highways, which is getting some really nice flow. No problems there. So we'll head down the highway now, heading into what is the main city centre. Look at that. Look at that. That's crazy, isn't it? So we had some really nice interchanges shown off in this series so far. And this certainly stands up there with some of the best we've seen. Isn't that delightful to watch? Seriously, seriously cool. I really like that. Let's just even track the locations here. So we're coming out into 4-way directional interchange, I think. I also took some serious building. That's, that's absolutely mental, although perfect flow, it has to be said, doesn't it? Look at that. Real nice. We'll arrive at a little shopping centre where we can see the European unit partnered with the Japanese one. That's a very nice asset combination for a bit of a grander shopping centre. I really like how that looks. Very cool. Zoning, residential zoning over here, with another major industrial complex separated by train and trees, which is very nice. This comes back onto that industrial steel plant area we saw earlier. And with more just wonderful network and interchange work around here. Yeah, he really knows how to build out kind of a national road network, you can tell, can't you? Different access points, layers, all of access, great flow as well. Love to see it. Heading out of this way, we see the National Highway elevate again above the sands as we start hugging at the very tall, steep mountain peaks here. More fields and rural farming communities out this way with hot air balloons riding over top. A little custom bridge here as it passes back over and joins the National Highway network. Very nice indeed. And then this swoops right through into another major European area where we can see a wonderful little interesting station there. Get to that in a second. Look at that. Isn't that an interesting interchange configuration? What would you even call that? Almost like an eye, isn't it? An eye interchange, I suppose. Really like it though. That's very nice. So how's that even flowing? So you've got your two couplet roads. Both of them bend off out to their respective left and rights, whilst the slip ramps follow the curve of the opposite road. Really cool. That's a great little interchange. I've never ever seen that one before. Isn't that wonderful? Great flow in it as well. Very creative. And then we arrive into this next major town where we did spot that station I want to check out. So again, it's mostly made of European zoning. There's a great respecting of sight lines and symmetry over here. We can get a final grander view to his main CBD skyline, again, which isn't overbuilt. It's been made up of unique custom assets and zoning we can see here around the bottom. And very nice, isn't it? It's a really nice skyline. City Hall here with some wonderful gardens, churches, great little green belt here as well. Isn't that wonderful? And a really nice combination of unique buildings in the European area here. Lovely stuff. Now let's get to that station. I really want to check this out. Yeah, so we got, this is one of the Sunset Harbour metro stations, I think, isn't it? It is the bus metro hub from Sunset Harbour, yeah. There's also an intercity bus station here as well. What sort of public transport ridership are we getting? 3,500 residents and 4,500 tourists, so it's a fairly busy system. What's his most ridden? I think Metro by far dominates, doesn't it? Which is surprising, really. I thought there. Then again, the trains aren't too far behind on tourists, I suppose, are they? But yeah, Metro is definitely the way to go here. Let's have a look at the overarching Metro configuration. There's big loops coming all the way through here, isn't there? It's a significant transport infrastructure, which is very cool. But I love this station. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? It's a real wonderful execution of European zone in this city. It has to be said. I really like it. What an approach. And again, it's an asset I've not seen before. They'll come in, they'll rush out. Oh, isn't that glorious? Really nice custom station, this one. I will show it on screen because I'm sure some people would like to download it. This whole city actually has a collection on Steam if you want to grab any custom assets today. I'll try and remember to leave his Steam listing link down below. But again, another kind of Latin-inspired building, the Pedestrian San Telesforo. A very cool building. I really like it. Works tremendously well with European zoning again, doesn't it? And this European area then continues on with trams flowing through here as it heads down and around into another port with another wonderful custom asset. Great use of green cities up against the quay front as well. Be a great place to come for a coffee, this, wouldn't it? Views of this fall island, which we'll check out in a second, and the skyline as well. The skater boy. He's loving life, I imagine, right now. He's got tomatoes and cucumbers behind him, and a view of the skyline to enjoy. Although he chooses to stare, of course, at the building. Heading over here, we have something very interesting atop the hill, which is definitely a bit of a monument for the area, isn't it? Have a little look at this. So the Museo del Gigante Garcia. It's a unit building anyway. I have to excuse my Spanish / Portuguese pronunciations. I'm sure they're not accurate. And then more unique building action around here, some high density residential repeated patterns, which has worked out very nicely actually, doesn't it? The little 2x3 high densities here. Really like that. All framed around the networks, roads and trains all passing through here. More really cool network connections here again, seeing that interchange being used again here successfully to blend and separate couplet systems. There's a national road here that I think links up to the dam on the other side. Does indeed, yeah, it comes out of that tunnel there. And they've also got a dirt road heading up to something very secret and tucked away in the hills here as well. What's up here, I wonder? Another little Spanish community, of course. With another little custom church. Love to know what his inspiration was for these, because they're clearly dotted all around the map, aren't they? So I'd love to know if it was a particular country that inspired that kind of design that we see across this city. More of these high density vibes again with custom assets littered in between. And then we come into a massive industrial complex with the rail passing through. And then just some regular zoning out here. Nice suburban designs with churches, plazas, gyms and whatnot stopping around here. Really like this sort of stuff. Town centre designs are always my favourite to go to. It's always a nice way to just start up a new city, isn't it? Kind of municipal service hall vibe. And then we have our tram following the metro here. We only have one tram there. Is that the one tram? It must be, mustn't it? I thought they had more cars on them then. Maybe they didn't. Well, there's a transport mod at play perhaps. And then these all leave. We have a train station over here. A very small train station. And then that heads off. We have another town out here, which again I think is a little green cities community. Up and against the beaches. Schools and commercial around a little town centre here for them. With the radio antenna there as well. We arrived another one of these little Spanish communities with little custom churches. Really nice isolated custom church up here as well. Cannons. Very cool. Little Spanish flag out the front as well. Again, real nice hilltop view across to the rest of the city there, isn't there? And then these, I'm assuming, spill back around the edge of the island to the more rural Spanish communities and oil areas. Well, that takes us back around to the south part of the island, where we started the showcase from. So let's head back to the European town, because there was a big fort here I want to check out. Let's have a look at this. So where are we here? So from that big old European train station, we have some... Oh, what are you? I wonder. You are Forbidden City Walls, the Palace Museum, Beijing, China. So what are these pathways? That's very odd. Do they have to be... Oh, okay, they have to be elevated to work. Right, okay. So it's an elevated path network that looks like a walkable wall, literally. I love that. That is very cool. I want those for Thessia. That is gorgeous. And he's framed the road with them as well. Lots of tropical overgrowth around here. That's a great shot for the city there, isn't it? Really kind of hammers home the kind of almost like colonial Spanish kind of vibes, isn't it, really? Really like it. There's a turret here as well. Before this comes across, where you can see this elevated or walkable castle wall runs all the way around the outside alongside some content creator key as well. In a really cool shape. That is a tremendously unique build. With another Spanish town inside it as well, with churches, a little bit of Jerry Senior detailing as well. Tons of overgrowth. So let's have a look at the layers here. So we have that walkable fort wall. Goes down to road with these little turrets around it as well. Anti-aircraft guns there and whatnot. And then another layers and drops down again. That's a a really nice centerpiece for the city. Another church at the entrance there too. Super cool, Napu. I really like how you've used that there. That's a great little centerpiece. And I love these. These are incredible. Give me these networks, please. What a great find they are. Really wish I'd have known about them. Yeah, so really sweet, really sweet. Which then drops us back off at, if we head over to the interchange we saw earlier, we'll check out this beachfront as we head into the CBD. So lots of vanilla zoning out here along the beach. And we come into some high density stuff. And this is where I go for historicalizing, because we end up with a lot of this. A lot of the kind of nastier assets, if I can point them out. Yeah, these surviving Mars stuff I'm not a huge lover of. But the power of the historical button's wonderful, isn't it? So all this high density against the beachfront, and the interchange rises into yet more European zoning around the base of this huge highway bridge, which we'll check out. Across here you got some modern city centre. We have skyscrapers, warehouses, as all this network road comes in. Look at that. It's a big old interchange there, isn't it? As all these networks, what I meant to say, arrive into an oil refinery with oil storage. There's cargo harbours here, shipyard factory, ore storage, timber storage. So a big old industrial plant here. What is this? What are you? Would really like to know what you are. At the Porto Felipe Harbour Tower from Galicia in Spain. Very cool. Really cool assets, isn't it? A harbour tower. What, so does this essentially function as like harbour control almost? Kind of like a port's version of an air traffic control tower maybe, but sea traffic control, I suppose. Would be very cool. But either way, enormous industrial yard over here as well, which is great to see. This European zoning around the interchange again is all in box formation, which is definitely the way I like to use them. And a really nice kind of parallel network action there of the red pathway following the cycling road is a really nice combination of assets, isn't there? I really like that. That's very sweet. Super nice. Great kind of mirroring of assets, isn't it? How they run parallel with each other all the way around. Really sweet. Then we'll have to check out this bridge, right? This is obviously a massive centerpiece of the city, so huge suspension arch. With well, I guess is this a cable stayed bridge, I suppose? I'm guessing it is with the amount of cables on it. Nice support around the bottom, quays and flood wall to help support the bridge, which is cool. And then as it arrives into the CBD, it has a big old loop as it runs around with more zoning. The airline headquarters is out here. Big old waterfront with unique buildings, statues, greenbelt, all facing up into his main city centre where the highway runs through. Off-ramps passing through here. This reminds me very much, not that all of these cities we showcase are inspired by mine, but how the Noob Oak Highway passes through the city centre. For those that are familiar with our Noob's Guide series, it kind of reminds me of that here. Then we have lots of mid-century modern city centre, unique buildings. Is this the Melbourne Tower? This is, or is this Chicago? Telesforo's tower. It's the one Vanderbilt from New York, apparently. Did not think that one was New York, but it's okay. So that definitely dominates his skyline, doesn't it? Then there's skyscrapers, content creator pack stuff around here. Financial districts, regular unique buildings. High density commercial. A bit of IT cluster, green cities in there. Green cities residential. They're a real nice high rise. There's a big old dense bit of green cities around here as well, which blends tremendously well with the posh mall, doesn't it? And it's never put those two together, but the posh mall really does look like a green cities asset. So a really nice skyline, lots of key work around the edge as well, people taking the ferries. But again, it's tasteful, it's not overbuilt, and you have to respect a skyline that's zoned. It's so much harder to get them to look the way you want. But he's done an excellent job of it here. Green cities, unique buildings always lead to a nice time, don't they? Passing over through the downtown, we have more services down here, unique buildings, a little bit of industry down the bottom as well. Before I notice a little stadium perched upon the hill here. Surrounded by low density residential. And a little bit of a metro plaza here. Lots of pedestrianisation, love to see this, love the glass plazas. Always very nice assets. And then this spills into farmland here. But we come on to the first campus I've seen. I always love campuses, is we haven't noticed any others around the city. Well, have I missed them, actually? How much education demand does he have? 15,000. Where are they? Yeah, I think there is only one campus. Yeah. That's okay. I do like my campuses. But again, very nice, built on a hillside, tremendously difficult terrain to work with. But a very nice placement for the main building, which is almost acting like another church here, isn't it? Kind of sat atop the hill overlooking the city. And already quite a Mediterranean / Central American looking asset, isn't it? A very interesting blend of assets here with the mothership, space launch center, and some zoning with the airport museum. And then a bit more of a tourism district over here as well. Lots of wall-to-wall with the pedestrian area as more very high-dense residential takes over. There's a real mix of assets in here. There's surviving Mars and towers and the little red brick numbers too. And then this all blends into green cities. As we arrive at his airport complex, which is a grand old beast. Let's have a look what's going on here. So I love the way he's used the resource painter there to differentiate texture on the airfield. That's very nice. But it's a big old complex, isn't it? So I'm not sure if we're missing... There was no missing assets in the loading screen mod. But it looks like this should probably be painted up. Maybe there's a surface painter bug here, but I would assume this should all be concrete through here. But let's have a look at the terminal configuration regardless. So it sweeps up and around here. He's used the 2-story classic terminal. Always one of my favourites, this. It's got buses stopping in here too. Very busy bus line at that as well. And then let's have a look at the airport configuration. It comes out here. Got the big concourse around the edge. It's accepting, yeah, large planes are over here too. And a really interesting configured runways and taxiway system here. Seems to be working quite nicely for him there, doesn't it? I can only assume this is meant to be concrete painted up. It's a bit odd without it, but that could have just been the way he wanted to do it. And then over here, so there is 2 runways. One of them is serving a cargo airport out here. How are you connected? There's a tunnel here, and the tunnel goes over there. Yeah, it does. That's really cool, actually. I like the way he's got 2 runways here. One serving the passenger airport, and the other one serving the cargo airport down here. But very nice, and a really nice position on the kind of rocky outcrop of the downtown landmass there. And then back over toward the downtown near the stadium, we've got some really cool ramps coming off here. Getting good flow on them. And then there's even a little zoo down here as well across the bay. Look at that. Oh, that's a really cute use of how have you even done that actually? Does that stay connected there? Yeah, it is. How have you done that? Would love to know. I guess because it's connected to a pathway, it thinks it's connected. That's a very clever use of assets regardless. But yes, there is a zoo out here partnered with some seaside resorts assets. A nice kind of central design on it there. And I love the, I think, is it the Monkey Palace or the Reptile House, this one? Yeah, the Reptile House. Works so well as like a secondary entrance behind the main zoo building. I think it's really cool, that one. And then it's got all his enclosures in here. In a lovely little tropical zoo that sits on the water. The elephants over here. He's even got the whales in the water as well. Whales and stingrays for all. Wonderful. It's a bit shallow for them. They might be beached at any moment. But either way, that rounds off an extremely unique city showcase. Really well done, Anapu. I really like the kind of Latin, Spanish, Central American kind of inspiration a lot of the city seems to have ran with. It's really cool. There's some great ideas here, really nice interchanges. And overall, a really interesting city built on a map by yourself, which I always like to see. So super cool city. Thank you indeed for sending it in. If you'd like to have your cities featured in the next episode of City Showcase, please check out the link to the Google form below, and I'll do my best to get to your city. Again, there is quite a backlog, so don't worry if it's not immediately shown. I will do my best to eventually get around to it. And a massive shout out to all the patrons supporting the channel with a special roll call to our Golden Eggs, Louis Adlam, Andrew Perez, and O'Hay Casino if you want to help support the channel. Links are down below to Instant Gaming and Patreon if you want to get a bit more involved. But thanks for all the submissions, keep them coming in. I'm loving the City Showcase series, and I'm glad to see you guys are as well. Let me know what you think of San Telesforo, but otherwise I'll shut up and leave it there. Let's thank you all so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.